And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
Boom, we're live, baby. MMA Gossip episode number 52. I don't know what's going on with the green screen. If anyone can help me out. Get the American flag instead. But you know the usual. MMA Gossip, at MMA X Gossip, every social. This week we'll be talking some Curtis Blaydes going to sleep, some Black Beast, some Canelo Alvarez, a little maybe, who knows, probably get into Jake Paul because he's been in the news a lot lately, get into UFC Fight Night 186, UFC Vegas 20, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. You know the usual, like, comment, subscribe. 52 episodes deep. It's basically a year, once a week of podcasts. It's pretty cool. We probably missed a couple in between, but we're basically like dead on a year because there was a couple of times we did 2 in a week. So,
okay.
Thanks for following along, boys and girls. Our views on YouTube have been good, man. We've been getting like over 300, around 350 the past like 6 videos in a row. So thanks for sticking with us.
Hey, you know we're doing good because my little brother just joined Twitch and got 2 views on his Call of Duty stream. So
good for him, dude.
We're working up, baby.
Dude, it's seriously, thanks for sticking with us. And it's crazy that, like, dude, we're still a work in progress. I remember doing the first episode and we're all on one microphone because we had no idea what the fuck we're doing. And I feel like every week I sign on, I still have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but it's getting better. So
yeah. Not to toot our own horn, but I enjoy listening to us, you know, whether YouTube, podcast, whatever, commute to work, whatever. Shoot us a like, go to Apple iPod podcast, write a 5-star, leave a review, negative review. I don't care, anything. Publicity is publicity.
That's it.
So we're going to talk a little bit about, boxing. Let's just talk about obviously the killer moment of the weekend, Derrick Lewis sleeping Curtis Blaydes and then landing.
Before we get into anything, I have to come clean about something.
Oh God, here we go.
What did I say I was going to do last week?
I have no idea. Bet on Derrick Lewis.
What did I was going to bet on Derrick Lewis, just some way, shape, or form. What do you think I did after losing on the Vieira fight?
Oh, you bet the over.
Yeah.
Or you bet Curtis Blaydes' line twice or something.
Yeah, full line. And the over, which missed by like 30 seconds.
Oh, it's so brutal, Matt.
Dude, didn't you bet on Curtis Blaydes to beat Volkov? You bet like over $1,000 on him. I remember we showed the screenshot on podcast.
Yeah. Well, at least that happened, but I remember sweating that one out because Blaydes gassed. But that's out of the way.
I mean, he was shooting takedowns. Like, if we're just getting right into it, we're getting right into it. He was shooting. Well, he didn't shoot any takedowns, and then shot from across the cage. And again, dude, Curtis Blaydes forgot more about wrestling than I'll ever know. But what was he going for there? I don't even know if it was like he entered from across the cage, didn't lower his level at all. Like that was just bad. You know what I mean? And Derrick Lewis said after the fight, I was waiting for that to happen. And it fucking happened.
Bro, I was listening to DC on the Helwani show, and he put it in perfect perspective. He's like, Derrick Lewis was doing the high guard a lot, like really high guard. And that's when you're supposed to shoot, because you can't really transition your arms from here to do an uppercut in that short amount of time, especially because Curtis Blaydes was winning the fight on the feet, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But he was, like you said, he's like a couple feet too far to do a shot, and he didn't set up his shots correctly, and he just got caught with an ridiculous uppercut and then 2 follow-up shots. Pretty much every follow-up shot was another 6 months.
The last follow-up shot was. Is that why he said you could blame Herb Dean for that one?
Yeah, he goes, that's Herb Dean's fault,
bro.
Dude, that was like. Because then he started doing like the DX chop, and Curtis Blaydes' corner's getting all pissed, and he goes, that's Herb Dean's fault. Dude, that's hilarious. But I see what he's coming from. Like, don't stop till the ref pulls you up. But Curtis Blaydes was literally like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, when
Derrick Lewis, what did you think was happening when you were hitting him still?
The funny thing is, he would have kept hitting him if Herb Dean never got in there.
Dude, that was like, I don't know if it was Hendo Bisping level, but it was definitely Masvidal Askren level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially from Derrick Lewis. Like, dude, one of our buddies, Jackson, texted me and was like, dude. And I was like, bro, I swear to God, I think I would rather get hit by a car going like 25 miles an hour than have that happen to me.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yep.
Dude, how long you guys think Blaydes has to stay out for?
A year.
Minimum.
Yo, and I said it the other night. I feel so bad for Blaydes because let's be real, he's got a lot of fucking talent. He's definitely one of the more well-rounded fighters in the division. But even when he loses, man, he refuses to just lose by decision. He needs to get knocked out in the most vicious ways humanly possible. Yeah. Like there's no in between. There's no losing. He just dies every time. And it sucks because, Chris, you even think of like Corey Anderson, a guy with all the talent in the world that's just never going to be able to take a shot.
Dude, I say that all the time. You guys know my quote. Like, if sometimes to be a champion, you have to rely on your chin. Like, it's not good to rely on your chin, but sometimes there's going to be times in fights where you got to bite down on the mouthpiece, in rounds 4 or 5 and just fucking, rely on your chin basically. And he'll never be able to do that clearly. And a knockout like that, totally career changing. That's not good. And Matt was I got to give Matt credit here and then give myself a little bit of credit. Matt was super high on Curtis Blaydes for a really long time, and I was kind of low on him. And then he definitely proved me wrong, climbed up the rankings, beat some good people, knocked out JDS on the feet, stuff like that. And then now it's gotten to the point where I'm back on I don't think Curtis Blaydes will make that hump. You know what I mean? If you're getting knocked out by Derrick Lewis, like shooting across the cage like that, Ngannou finished him twice. Derrick Lewis put his lights out. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
I agree.
Never beat someone like Stipe. If him and DC fought, obviously DC's not in the division anymore. DC would, I think, dominate him. You know what I mean?
I agree, man. It sucks because he was nice. He was nice juice into a division that, you get past the Stipe, the Francis, where are you really looking at heavyweight? Like it's, Alistair Overeem, that's who Derrick Lewis calls out. Like, what are we really trying to do here? Do you want to kill him? Did he do something to you in a previous life that you want to fight Overeem? Who wants to fight Overeem? And what kind of call out is that after beating the number, what is he, 3 Blaydes, 2?
Did he fuck his wife or something?
Yeah, like literally. What Blaydes was ranked 2, right? Because Francis is 1. So Blaydes had to have been 2. Like, why
Overeem is just talking, saying like Derrick Lewis isn't like a real MMA fighter, not a complete fighter, blah, blah. So Derrick Lewis said like he doesn't talk shit about people or call people out unless they do it to him first. So that was his reasoning. But like, do I want to see Overeem, throw pop shot jabs and run across the fucking octagon? You know what I mean? The speed of light. Try not to get hit by Derrick Lewis.
And that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, I love doing this. I'm just pulling up the shitty rankings now. Francis, Derrick Lewis, Blaydes. After that, Rozenstruik fights this weekend, so we'll see. But he's the number 4 ranked guy, and he's like a plus 250 underdog this weekend to the guy that's ranked 7th. So what does that really tell you about Rozenstruik? Volkov, he is what he is. I think he's just going to end up being a gatekeeper. He's never going to challenge for the belt. Overeem, we don't even need to talk about. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Shamil, that dude.
Abdurrahimov.
Yeah. Augusto. Chris Dawkins is ranked 10th. Just stop there. Like it's just there's nothing to this division.
What's Aspinall? Is he in the top 15?
No, I don't know how, but Tybura and Ivanov and Dawkins are. That's crazy to me.
I think Aspinall and Dawkins would be a great next fight, and Aspinall basically called for the winner of the heavyweight on that fight on that card. I think that'd be awesome, especially if he's ranked 10th. Like,
yeah,
I can see the UFC doing something crazy and giving Aspinall the winner of this weekend too.
I can see that. I definitely think the UFC is 100% behind Aspinall. He's got the look, he's got the, likable personality, and he's got the skills. He's a perfect recipe for the UFC to concoct a future contender. Speaking of Dawkins and Aspinall, great performances by both guys. Kind of expected both of them to win, and not in the fashion they did. I mean, Dawkins by knockout, yes, but Aspinall by submission was like plus 1,600, something crazy like that.
Talk about smooth, man.
Let's talk about quick notables on this card before we move on. Phil Hawes had a good, win over Nasruddin Imamov, even though it got really hairy at the end there. Derek Minner proved everyone wrong. Dude, the top 3 fights, the massive underdogs, Yana, Derek Minner, and Derek Lewis. took
I wish
the
I
I
put
was
my money where
positive Ketlin Vieira was going to win. Matt's going on Instagram comment arguments with people about it.
dude, I thought that I know it wasn't like good, but that decision to me was just bullshit.
I called it, and Ketlin was my lock, and I said right when it ended, I go, well, dude, it was just the way the fight went. Like, honestly, to me, Matt, I'm with you. Like, I'm with you, and I I was biased, and I wanted Ketlin to win, but I totally see why Yana won. Like, just the striking differential. Like, I don't know what Ketlin was going for. I texted you guys during the fight, and I was like, does Ketlin think this is ADCC? You know what I mean? Like,
No, you're right, dude. You're right. I just honestly, it's my own fault. I didn't watch that first round as much as I should have. I don't remember what I was doing. I remember round 2 clearly being fucking Yana. In round 3, I want to see the scorecards because I heard on Twitter that round 3 was that round that was actually scored for Yana.
I think so, but I think Ketlin controlled that round, and then the last, however long it was.
Of the round on back, 75% of the round, she had back control. Like, to me, that decision's worse if you give the third round to Yana, not the first.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at their faces, though, Diaz rules, Yana definitely won.
Yeah.
Not mad about it.
I am, motherfucker. That was my lock.
Yeah. But I mean, like the way that Yana put it on in the last 30, I think Caitlin had a really bad cut. Obviously, she didn't make weight and she just didn't look like herself. And
I think you're right. I think she just wanted to lay on her. She's like, I don't have the gas tank for this.
Absolutely.
She didn't even lay on her. She was accepting bottom. But anyway.
Yo, congrats to Julian Erosa and Jared Gordon for pulling off those 2 upsets. Pumped for those guys because for some reason, I just don't like Danny Chavez talking all that shit. And everybody's on the hype train. Like he had a great win over TJ. I don't know what the fuck his name, but he's not very good. So I was pumped for him. TJ Brown, so pumped for him. Pumped for Julian Erosa, even though I had bet on Nate Landwehr. That was
all over, dude. My favorite fighter in the UFC, Julian Erosa, baby.
What a minute that was! Wow.
I'm done saying it on this podcast, but Nate Landwehr is the actual definition of the F word. I can't stand it. Dude, I'll never bet on him again. I won't even want to watch his fights anymore. Like, on what planet did you think that was an early stoppage?
Dude, he was like, dude, it was an early stoppage.
He's like drooling.
Dude, you were looking for a single leg on the ref. What are you talking about?
You hit the ref with a 2-piece combination.
Amazing. Chris, you want to take us into the boxing realm for a little bit before we hit UFC Vegas 20?
Yeah. So this weekend, boys, it's the super middleweight. I wasn't sure if it was middleweight or super middleweight for the WBC super middleweight belt. You guys know I always say Canelo Alvarez goes up and down in weights like crazy. He fought Floyd Mayweather, sucked in at 151. He'll be fighting this weekend against Avni Yildirim. He is a Turkish boxer who was a big name a couple years ago, has fallen off, hasn't fought in 2 years, and is coming off a loss. But because boxing is boxing, and Dana always says the UFC and MMA, but the UFC in general makes the fights that people want to see. Avni has not fought in 2 years, coming off a loss, and is the mandatory challenger for Canelo's super middleweight, aka 168-pound belt. Doesn't make sense to me or pretty much anyone, but Canelo said his thought process in this is he wants to unify all the belts. It's like WBO, WBC, WBA, IBF, all the way across the board. And he's already agreed to fight Billy Joe Saunders in May, which is like a fight a ton of people want to see. Canelo will still be a big favorite in that fight, but he's minus 5,000 this weekend in this fight, which is fucking nuts. But the only people that Avni's really had to fight that were good were Anthony Durrell and Chris Eubank, and he lost both times. So, I mean, it's, MMA math, aka boxing math. Boxing math works a lot better than MMA math does. And boxing math says that Canelo should be minus fucking 10,000. He's going to cruise, probably going to be, first couple round stoppage. Matt, you probably already looked at the odds for whatever the fuck the under is. It's definitely going to be not many rounds. And then Billy Joe Saunders in May is going to be an awesome fight for Canelo. And then later this year, Canelo usually fights like May, September. he said he wants to fight Caleb Plant, which Canelo went from fighting like, Mayweather, who's 147-pound welterweight, to fighting these 100, Kovalev and these other guys for fighting at light heavyweight is such a big jump. That's like going from fighting featherweights in the UFC to fighting Kamaru Usman. You know what I mean? That's a big fucking jump. And Canelo takes on all challengers. So I'm pumped to see his fight. He'll be fighting this weekend. They did their whole big showdown in what is it, Hard Rock Stadium, where the Dolphins play. They did their thing. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see it. Canelo's back. He's free of his DAZN contract. And Eddie Hearn, who promotes all like he's like the big British promoter, Anthony Joshua, most famously, is promoting him now. And I saw on his Instagram, Eddie Hearn is already sending Canelo gifts and shit. Like Canelo's like putting on a private plane, and it's thanks at Eddie Hearn. I'm like, wow, he seems to be much happier. Eddie Hearn knows how to promote. Him and Dana White have a good relationship too, which could lead to things in the future. So we'll see what fucking happens. Canelo Alvarez is back out of his $365 million contract, which I think he's still getting paid almost all of. That was a 10-fight contract. I think he fought 5 of them and got, at least $200 million. And now I'm sure Eddie Hearn is paying him. He's probably making, I don't even know, $25-50 million to fight Avni, and is going to cruise to a few round knockout and move on with his life. You know what I mean?
Good for him, man. Like, good for him. Regardless of who he's fighting, it's not his decision, right? So,
yep,
go get that money.
And good for him, because he's been adamant that he doesn't give a fuck what the critics are saying. He's like, I'm happy, I'm making money. This is a tough, and Canelo's really good at not looking past people. He comes in with a strategy every fight, and he's even fought hurt. Like I remember, who was it that he came in and fought with a knee brace on? I'm trying to think who it was off the top of my head, but he came in, fought with a knee brace on, and still fucking won by knockout. It was, who the hell was it? It wasn't Callum Smith. Rocky Fielding. That's who it was. And stopped him with body shots in like the 3rd round. So Canelo is Canelo. He's the best. I think he's the best in the world. ESPN has him ranked number 2 pound for pound. I think they have Bud Crawford. I'm assuming. I just saw he was ranked 2 on a headline. I'm assuming that Bud Crawford is ranked number 1, but Bud Crawford isn't really leaving his division. Canelo is fighting anywhere from 150 to 175 pounds and winning everything. So Canelo, pound for pound, number 1, baby.
Word. Speaking of, you saw what Holloway said about pound for pound?
No, I did. I saw him getting interviewed lately about his skateboard and shit, but what did you have to say?
So basically he was saying how you cannot, this is a personal opinion, obviously, you cannot be a pound for pound rankings unless you switch weight classes.
I totally agree. 100% agree. Otherwise it's imaginary.
Right. 100%. So I thought that was pretty notable considering what you just said.
I saw him saying that he's like what the fuck did he say? He's like basically looming over the Ortega and Volkanovski fight, because he beat the shit out of Ortega and pretty much beat Volkanovski in 9 out of 10 people's eyes. So he really is looming over that fight, and the UFC love him, and he's definitely going to get the winner. So
yeah, he says he wants to fight ideally in May and then probably December. So hoping to get that rematch with Volkanovski, because tipping my hat here, I'm rooting for Volkanovski to win against Ortega just so we can get that rubber match, and hopefully Holloway can get away with that belt.
As Nate Diaz would say, we're going 3.
Matt, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm taking a shit.
That's fine.
Yo, real quick though, on a boxing note, Chris, talk about this fight we just watched last week, this past Saturday, dude. Holy shit.
Dude, that was so. What do you think a bigger knockout was, that or Curtis Blaydes?
Blaydes, solely because that was an accumulation of damage. I think that corner should have threw in the towel.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing about with boxing. A lot of people say, so like with heavier gloves, the fights naturally are going to last longer, but you're taking damage over a longer period of time. So like, you're taking hundreds of punches to the head, whereas Curtis Blaydes just got put stiff. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, let's transition to UFC Vegas 20. Definitely at least 3 or 4 notable matches. Not a great card, but it doesn't matter because next Saturday is going to be a banger. So let's just skip right to the 7th bout here. Alexander the Great Hernandez going up against Thiago Moises. I, as you guys all know, have not been a fan, not impressed with Alex Hernandez at all. Just put my 2 cents in real quick. He's a cocky motherfucker until he got knocked out by Cerrone, and then he changed up his game plan, and I think he's more of a point fighter now. I don't think he knows exactly what he wants to be, and that Grutzmacher fight was just a tune-up fight for him. I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm not impressed with Moises per se, but I am going to pick him to win here. He looked a lot better in his Bobby Green bout than he did against Michael Jackson in his previous one. You got a lot to prove, and I just don't think Alex Hernandez has what it takes to be a top 10 fighter.
I agree wholeheartedly. I know Chris is on him here. I probably will be too, just because I'm also not as high on Thiago. I don't know, man. I thought Alex was going to be a problem in the very beginning until I saw him start to face guys. Dude, this, I guess you call it, at the time, Cowboy was like that guy that people would toss prospects up against, be like, let's see what you got. And he kind of folded, and then he really rubbed me the wrong way.
Folded.
Yeah. And then he really rubbed me the wrong way when Connor knocked out Cowboy, and he was like, yeah, I don't need that rematch anymore. Cowboy doesn't offer anything to me. Like, dude, fuck you. Were you kidding? Cowboy bitched you in there, and all of a sudden you're too good for him. So to me, him getting knocked out by Cowboy didn't humble him at all. Then what was that one fight he had that was just a Trinaldo, just abysmal to watch? I don't know. It's going to be a good test for him because Thiago is definitely his toughest test, in my opinion, since Cowboy. So we'll see where he's at. What is he, a 2-1 favorite bout-ish right now, 190, 200?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight. I just don't like Hernandez, so I'm going to side with Thiago, but I see why one would pick Hernandez. His gas tank, it does seem to hold up, but like Mike said, I don't know if he knows what kind of fighter he is. Does he want to be a point fighter? Is he going to go back to, prior to Cowboy where he was wrestling more? Like, what do I expect out of him? So I'm more excited to see his development than I am to see, like, I just want to see where he is. I want to see an actual game plan from him in this fight, because I don't think I've seen consistency out of him since he got knocked out by Cowboy.
I hear you, bro. Like, I've been a little bit less confident on him throughout the week, but I still am fairly confident that he's going to win. I'm definitely going to still ride with him and pick him. I think that when he came to the UFC and he knocked Dariush out in like no time at all and was just instantly on the map. And they're like, oh my God, this kid made a huge stink, talks some shit, knocks out Beneil Dariush. They give him OAM, who's a great at the time, especially borderline top 15 test. And OAM is really well-rounded. He looks like a fucking model, just like Alexander Hernandez does. And Hernandez came in there and won that fight by decision. And then right after that, they just were like, okay, here's Cowboy, because at the time it's like, Cowboy's fading. This kid just beat two, UFC vets. Now if he beats Cowboy, he's really on. And Cowboy, like Cowboy does, sit down the fucking young gun real fucking fast. They give him Trinaldo, who at the time, again, is still in the top 15. And, he won the fight. Some people say he lost. He won the fight. And then he goes to Drew Dober, who's like, I don't even know what the right term for him in the division, but the dark horse, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Dark horse, baby.
Another dude, he's fucking good. And now is finally getting the respect he deserves. And, he made Hernandez look bad. You know what I mean? But Hernandez has a wrestling base. Came in, put Grutzmacher away. And I think that here, his wrestling is going to be enough. His wrestling and stamina is going to be enough to withstand Moises' jiu-jitsu. And I think he's just going to be better on the feet. So I could see him winning a decision here, like actually going a full 3 rounds. And yeah, I just see him taking it.
I think it's going to be a good fight at worst. So that's good.
It's like Moises beat Michael Johnson, who's the king of folding, who just lost to Clay Guida. You know what I mean? Wow. So like, what does that really say? And Bobby Green, same thing, just went 3 rounds with Clay Guida, definitely past his prime. So, and I'm a Bobby Green fan for sure, but I just think that if you put Hernandez up against them, he would do the same thing.
Facts.
Yeah, I was just watching the Trinaldo fight today. It was just the worst 15 minutes of my life, but it's funny because the commentators were kind of, for lack of a better word, just kind of shitting on Hernandez, saying that he's feinting from too far out. He's attempting, kicks, and he's trying to, make Trinaldo jump the gun, but they're both trying to counter strike. That's why it was such a bad fight. And
a lot of it is, man. He's just I don't think he's comfortable on the feet.
Yeah, he's not. He's trying to feint from like so far out, trying to get Trinaldo to pull the trigger, and it's like Trinaldo is not gonna do that.
A little Macy Barber-esque.
Yeah, even Trevor Whitman came on for his little guest analysis, and he was saying exactly what I just been saying. So we'll see. Listen, if Hernandez can totally prove me wrong here, but I'm just gonna side with Moises for this one. We also got late edition rematch, not particularly exciting, but Angela Hill going up against Ashley Yoder. Nothing to see here. I'm going to root for Yoder because I'm an Angela Hill hater and just hopes that Yoder goes for takedowns, but I'm sure both of you guys are heavy on Hill here.
Heavy on Hill. She is my lock. I hope that line doesn't move.
I called that. I was just so the boys know and podcast listeners heard it here first. I was all over that fight, and I was like, if Angela Hill is minus 300 or less, I'm pulling a Maddie Bags and making her my lock. And she opened out right at even minus 300.
Yeah,
I think it might be a Maddie Bags week because I've been letting the listeners down lately, bro. So I need a gimme, and hopefully it's a fucking gimme. My luck, she can get taken down at will and lose a split decision in classic Angela Hill fashion.
And then she's going to bitch about it for the next.
Bitch about it, exactly.
Okay, great fight here.
We'll see.
Great rematch here. I'm super eager to hear, Chris, your opinion on this fight because I know you're siding with Munoz, right?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me why? Because, obviously they fought already. It was close. I did give it to Rivera. I just think that, Chris, you tell me why you're picking Munoz. Go ahead.
I think Munoz, since they last fought, has just two reasons. One, I think he's more durable. And two, I went 1, 2. I think that he's grown more since they fought. I think he's fought a little bit tougher competition. Jimmy Rivera folds whenever he fights tougher competition, and Pedro Munoz has seemed to rise to the occasion. Granted, he lost to Frankie Edgar, who most people say he won the fight. Frankie is my favorite fighter ever, so I'll never admit that Frankie Edgar lost that fight. But, you could say he won that fight. He put Cody Garbrandt, who's the past champion, to sleep. Sorry, Matt. And has been look super durable, where I think Jimmy Rivera in those same situations, like, what I say, you can't rise to those occasions without biting down your mouthpiece sometimes. And Jimmy Rivera, granted, Petr Yan hits like a truck, right? But that was a somewhat close fight. The first couple rounds, definitely at least close. Some people, you can score him either way, whatever. And then the end of both rounds just gets put on his butt. Fucking Marlon Moraes stops him in seconds, and I just see Pedro being more durable, making more adjustments, growing since their last fight and pulling out the W, especially at plus money. I'm definitely going to take him.
Matt, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Mike. I thought you were about to hop in.
Okay, I'll go last.
Basically the same thing Chris says. I think this is going to be a boxing match. It's going to stay on the feet. And I think that while Jimmy might have more weapons, I expect him to use more kicks than Pedro. I think Pedro's just got better hands, man. I think he's got better hands. I think he's got faster hands. I think he has more power, and I think he has better defense, and I think he has a better chin. And I think that's all a recipe to spell a Jimmy Rivera loss. I know that, like Chris said, Woods Pedro lost like 3 straight-ish, 2 or 3.
2. We lost to Aljo and Frankie.
Yeah, exactly. Look who he's losing to. I thought he beat Frankie, and then Aljo is fighting for the belt in 2 weeks, so no shame there. Yeah, I just think this is one of those fighters that's going to give Rivera a problem. We saw Rivera look great against Cody Stamann, but what was the advantage that Rivera had in that fight? His boxing. I don't think he has the same advantage in this fight. To me, he's a little bit of a one-dimensional fighter. He can wrestle, he can mix it up a little bit, but his bread and butter is his boxing. And if you can outbox him, I don't think that he's that much better anywhere else in mixed martial arts to beat Pedro. So he's going to probably be my dog pick this week. And I would not be surprised if this line actually swings close to even or Pedro ends up closing as a small favorite.
Yeah, I was just thinking that exact thing, Matt. Yes, you ever get one of those gut feelings where it's like, yeah, the numbers say this and the tape says this, but in your heart, you're like, no, it's going to go the other way. And that's how I feel in this fight. I think Pedro is going to win, even though like logistically, based on their last fight and, overall statistics, that, Rivera should be the right side, the right play. But in my heart, I'm going with Pedro.
Yeah, dude, one thing none of us mentioned, they both throw good leg kicks coming from both sides. And I just think that, again, the durability factor, I think Pedro might be able to withstand it longer. if that's their attack.
Yep. All right, Coco Main. I don't know. We're not spend much time here. Montana De La Rosa going up against Myro Breno Silva.
Who decides that?
I don't know.
Like, why is that the fucking
I think they're really looking for a girl to just show up and do something crazy and inject some life. That's the only justification that I have.
It's the Coco Main.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
I figured I'd mention it because it's right before the co-main, but
because it's Cowboy Oliveira, right?
Oh, is that going to take the co-main? No, the co-main is Krylov and Magomed Ankalaev.
Oh, I thought when I looked on the UFC website last, they had Cowboy there for some reason. I'm an idiot.
No, I think.
Oh no, Cowboy's doing the main eventing the prelims now.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, Mike. Take it over, Mike.
No, it's okay. You guys have much to say about this? I mean, Montana is a staple of the division, but also very limited in her skills. I think Myra just got that jiu-jitsu and going to make it hairy and get this dub.
I do too, and it's a pretty close line. This is a perfect line. You know, girls' fights are always a little sketchy, but this is a perfect line to take as a pull a Maddie Bags and just bet the full line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably what I'm going to end up doing, so.
All right, co-main. This is a great fight, and I do think the line is a little bit wide. Magomed Ankalaev going up against Krylov. I think Magomed is like minus 360 to Krylov's plus 275, and I get it, but let me hear you guys' thoughts on it. Matt?
I agree. It's Ankalaev coming off, what's his name, right? Kutelama?
Kutelaba.
Yeah, man. Like,
Krylov, I love how you always add an M to his name.
Yeah. Fucking, what's his name? Krylov is like, he's been around for a minute. He's faced a lot of people that I think are better than anything Ankalaev has seen. I think there's definitely a lot of hype here around Ankalaev, I guess. I was racking my brain about this. I don't know why this line is so big. Like, Krylov just dominated Johnny Walker, which I guess now means almost nothing because Johnny Walker can't buy a fucking win. Prior to that, he's faced Glover, OSP, he's faced John, who holds the belt, Jan, sorry. And I don't know, man. I might sprinkle Krylov here to make this just an ugly fight up against the cage, kind of exactly what he did to Johnny Walker. If he tries to stand and bang with Ankalaev, probably going to lose. But I think he could grind out a win here. He's just got that style, man. And I think he's going to end up being the bigger fighter in there too. I know he's the longer guy, but I don't see a justification for a line this big. I see it for Ankalaev with the hype, but I don't know what Krylov did to be on the opposite end of such a lopsided fucking line.
Dude, Krylov to me is good-ish. He's good against not good competition, right? So, like, I'm not discrediting these guys, even though I just did, like Johnny Walker or OSP. Like, you know what I mean? That's the kind of guys he's beating. Krylov is putting away better competition, and it keeps growing in the division, and he's looking better and better in every fight. And he's been minus 300 in his past however many fights, and looks like a minus 300 in all of his fights. Like there was a point where Krylov got cut from the UFC, fought in some like poopy Russian promotion, came back to the UFC, and then lost 2 out of 3 fights. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's like, I think they know what they're doing. Good matchmaking. I think it's going to be another stand-up affair, and Ankalaev will probably fucking head kick Krylov back into whatever fucking Russian promotion he was in. I think, minus 300 is always steep, especially at these heavier weights, but I think it's just, and Ankalaev cruises.
Yeah, I do think Ankalaev wins this fight. I do believe that the hype is real. I just think I was watching last night before I went to bed. I was watching Krylov versus Glover, and he got, I think, like 4 out of 6 takedowns on Glover, which is really impressive considering the streak that Glover's on right now. And it was a split decision lost. I agree with the decision, but Krylov looked good there. Didn't look particularly good against Johnny Walker. That's definitely a little bit of a deterrent for me, but I just think the line should be a little bit closer. Krylov's got he's kill or be killed, man. I'm pretty sure not over 90% of his fights ended inside the distance, win or lose.
Yeah.
So he's definitely kill or be killed. He's got that submission threat. We know Ankalaev got submitted with that Hail Mary play by Paul Craig.
So dude, what the fuck?
Dude, I know. So I just think that Krylov by submission is like plus 1,000. So if there's if you want to make a play on it, I think inside the distance for Krylov is the play. But I am picking Ankalaev to win.
You think if Ankalaev wins, they'll match him up with Glover?
I think that's a great fight to
We
make.
have to have that conversation.
Glover has been dying for that title shot, though. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to get it right away.
I don't know, dude. What is he? He's on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak and just beat the last 2 people he fought for the belt.
Yeah, he's deserving of it, man. The UFC just doesn't really want to give it to him, and I get it. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Sorry, Mike, I'm cutting you off a lot, but common opponents, Kutalaba and Krylov both fought Glover, and Glover beat both of them. You know what I mean? Now Ankalaev beats both of them, and then boom.
Yeah, that's matchmaking right there. Call Shelby up.
I should.
Main event. Rozenstruik plus 225 going up against Cyril Gane. Big favorite, big hype. Not as much experience as you would like in a minus 300, but he is proven to be a top dog at heavyweight. How do you guys see this going down, Matt?
If it goes to I think that Cyril's going to try to take it to the ground. I think that if this fight stays standing, I think Dodd should be dead even and Rozenstruik should be a favorite. You know, we all know his background, his kickboxing, but we also know Cyril's. And we've seen Rozenstruik, I think, in my opinion, I don't count JDS because anyone could fucking knock him out at this point. I've seen more of a killer instinct out of Rozenstruik. And, you know, he was losing to Overeem, though, for the hottest minute until he literally broke his lip in fucking half. Again, these are odds that I just don't really understand. I get there's so much hype around Cyril, but it's not like I don't think Rozenstruik deserves to be this much of an underdog. He lost to one person, and that's Francis. Who the fuck hasn't lost to Francis? And who has what's his name? Who is Cyril beat? You know, and I there's been wins he's had. I'm sorry, I'm also pulling his shit up right now. That I was like, it's like a minus 500 favorite, and I was very unimpressed. It was the Bozer fight. Very, very unimpressed there. To me, he won a point fight against the guy that he was drastically bigger than. And then before that, he subbed 2 guys that I don't even think are in the UFC anymore. I could be wrong about Rafael. I'm pretty sure Dontel Mays isn't here anymore.
Yeah, I think isn't Dontel Mays fighting fucking Bam Bam Tuivasa?
I think you're right. Okay, yeah, and we know what will happen after that fight. Loser goes home. I would never lay these odds on I just did it this weekend. I would never again lay these odds at heavyweight when I don't believe in the hype. You know me, I'm all aboard every hype train. I'm not buying Cyril's hype train yet. Not buying. If he finishes him this weekend or he wins convincingly, all aboard. I'm all for the new life at heavyweight. But until then, I think I'm actually going with the dog here.
Go ahead, Chris.
The UFC knows what the fuck they're doing. Like I'm missing something here, obviously. You know what I mean? The UFC knows what the fuck they're doing. They're the best at this, and this is going to be another example. I feel Gane is definitely. I shouldn't say definitely, but there's something that I'm fucking missing because if you look at it, they're both kickboxers, right? They both have Muay Thai. They're both primarily kickboxers. I know Cyril was he was only 8-0 in kickboxing, comes to the UFC. Now he's 7-0, where Rozenstruik had 85 kickboxing matches, comes over. I think he's 11-1. Again, his only loss to Ngannou, and he won by, it was knockout, got knocked out. Then it follows up with a knockout.
I don't mean to interrupt. I actually got to bounce. It's 1:00. I'll talk to you guys later. I have my meeting.
All right, bro. Yeah, do your thing,
guys.
So I just think that Rozenstruik has so much more experience and is fighting guys again, even though he knocked it was a buzzer beater KO against Overeem, but fighting Overeem for 5 rounds, ton of experience. You know what I mean? You just gain from stuff like that. Arlovsky, and just veterans that he has wins over. I think that octagon time might serve him well, and maybe he could pull out a fucking W here. Again, I'm missing something, but odds like this at heavyweight just seem sketchy.
Dude, I'm with you there when you say that we're missing something.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. UFC must know something about Gane that we don't, or know something about Rozenstruik that we don't. So I have to side with Gane here, and it's purely because the odds makers made it the line what it is. And that's it. I really don't have any further analysis on this fight. May the best man win.
Absolutely.
Chris, I got a few questions for you.
I was just going to say, bro, I thought you had some questions. Let's hear them.
All right. What did you think of Kevin Lee's quote about him fighting Tony Ferguson? Loser leaves town. What do you think?
Kevin Lee's good at making news and making noise. I don't put too much stock into that. Like Tony Ferguson beat him convincingly. Kevin Lee was gassing out. He did mount Tony at one point, but then after that, Tony did what Tony does. And I'm not saying that his game plan was let me get mounted, but he drug Kevin into deep water, and Kevin drowned. You know what I mean? Simple as that. Kevin Lee, so he's coming off the loss to Oliveira. And then obviously double knee surgery. I don't think Tony's taken that far of a fall yet. He's still ranked significantly higher. So I don't put too much stock into that.
Word. I feel you on that. Okay. The Adzaitar is back. You saw that? Atman Adzaitar is.
Dude.
So what I think is pretty simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got friends in high places. You know what I'm saying?
Ali is his manager.
He's friends with the Moroccan king. He's been involved in some criminal activities, whether it be in Germany or I forget where he migrated to after he was born in Germany. But nonetheless, I just think he's got friends in high places, and I saw this come in. People are bitching about him being back. We still don't know what's in the bag, but are you heard about
it? In the bag? Dude?
Yeah, I personally don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit either. I just don't know what the fuck is in the bag.
Me too.
It's, dude, like USADA is fake. So if it was something along those lines, maybe it was a little cocaine for the post-fight victory in Abu Dhabi with the boys. Who knows? Not mad at him for that either.
Nope. Well, TJ's return. He says he's predicting Jan to win. Do you think that he gets an automatic title shot when he returns? I think he does, and I think it's well deserving. I think it's awesome. I don't care.
Dude, me, TJ is like one of my favorite fighters ever. So him, Frankie, Chris Weidman, all those guys. But anyway, I do think it's deserved. I think that the UFC knows that even, he'll make headlines. If he gets an immediate title shot, people like me and you will fucking love it. And people like most of MMA Twitter will fucking hate it. But either way, it's going to make a ton of headlines because of that fact. People have a short-term memory where if he wins, he'll always – people will forever say, oh, it's because of steroids, blah, blah, blah. But then if TJ wins, hypothetically, let's just say TJ fucking wins, and Cody went on a little streak, people would be calling for that fight. There's a lot of things you can do with that. Also, I see that people are him and Sandhagen coming back in Sandhagen would also be another fucking amazing fight. And people, for whatever fucking reason, there was talks of him versus Faber. Like that would be, you want to ease your way back into the octagon. He would beat the shit out of Uriah Faber, come back. And honestly, he came back and beat the shit out of Uriah Faber. I think they would give him a title shot after that, and people would be more mad. You know what I mean? But that would definitely headline a fight night. You know what I'm saying? And be a big fight. Or it could be, co-main on a pay-per-view, literally. And dude, I'm all over it. I mean, granted, I don't want to see him fight fucking Uriah Faber, but I'd watch the shit out of it, and then haters will hate. You know what I mean? People are gonna hate no matter what. So
no matter what, man, no matter what. Last thing here before we close out. It's not a question, but I thought it was something super interesting. So, if you're an MMA fan, you obviously know what Mortal Kombat is. I mean,
yeah, the video game looks sick.
Yeah, the video games. They're on like the 11th one. Just the movie's coming out, but the reason why I bring it up is because the main actor in the movie, his name is Louis Tan. I don't know which character he's exactly playing, but I know he's a main character. He praised Masvidal for his, UFC tenure, his entire fight career, and he based his character off Jorge Masvidal. So I thought that was super cool.
I did not know that. That's awesome, dude.
Very cool, especially because Masvidal is a relatively controversial figure, backing Trump, this, that, and the other thing. And for a Hollywood movie actor to come out and say that he's to come out and say that you're basing your character off Jorge Masvidal, I think that's fucking awesome, and I'm pumped to watch the movie in a month.
Oh yeah, I'm pumped to watch Gina Carano's movie with or her feature film, whatever it's going to be with Ben Shapiro. I think that's going to be fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, baby, USA! All right, boys, we out here. See you all next week. Picks will be posted up on Saturday. Let's see if Chris can make a comeback.
He needs it.
Tune in next week, guys. See you later.